Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to explore how a seemingly mundane daily convenience used to be a high-stakes, highly skilled profession. Just think about the last time you rode an elevator. You walked in, you pushed a button, the doors closed, and just a few seconds later, you arrived, perfectly level with your floor. It's simple, it's automatic, and it's instant. But, it wasn't always that way. So let's kick things off by shattering a modern myth. Imagine if every single time you stepped into a tall building, a trained professional had to manually drive you to your floor. No buttons, no computers, just a person physically controlling a massive, heavy machine, deciding exactly when and how to stop. Now, it sounds completely wild today, but as skyscrapers first started rising across America, this was a daily reality that employed thousands and thousands of workers.
Section 1. When elevators needed humans. To really get why this job was even a thing, we've got to completely unlearn what we expect an elevator to do automatically.
Today, we've got these precise, computerized systems that just automatically find your floor. Early elevators, though, they relied entirely on a human being pulling a manual lever, judging the exact right moment to brake based purely on their own experience and feel. If the operator didn't manage that speed absolutely perfectly, you were in for an incredibly jarring, stomach-dropping ride. And this is absolutely crucial. A bad stop wasn't just inconvenient, it was literally physically dangerous. That's why this required skilled, experienced hands. If the operator misjudged the stop and pulled that lever too early, there'd be this dangerous step up into the hallway. Stop just a second too late, and passengers would trip trying to step down. You were literally trusting this person not to let you break an ankle on your way to the office. Moving right along to Section 2, the real operator skills. Now, it is incredibly easy for us to look back and dismiss this job as simple button pushing, but that couldn't be further from the truth. This was essentially heavy machinery masquerading as customer service. Look at the sheer volume of technical expertise required here. It's pretty staggering. Every individual elevator had slightly different handling characteristics. Operators needed this deeply intuitive sense of timing. They needed intense safety awareness to listen for unusual mechanical sounds, plus the ability to manage crowds during those crazy busy rushes. And if there was a malfunction, they were the primary emergency response. They were expected to maintain absolute composure to keep everyone in that tiny box calm. We are talking hundreds of trips a day. Operators worked long, grueling shifts, standing in the exact same car, completing hundreds of trips, all while memorizing regular passengers' names, their daily routines, and their floor destinations. This was for sure not a sit-down job. It was repetitive, physically demanding work, running those same up and down routes for hours on end, while simultaneously maintaining a flawless social grace with the hundreds of people cycling through their doors. And went way beyond just mechanical skills. Picture this, operators wearing these formal uniforms and serving as essential guides for the building. They'd make announcements like second floor, women's clothing, home goods, in massive department stores. Combining heavy transport with frontline customer service was just part of the daily gig. They were quite literally the voice and the face of the building. Section 3, trusted faces of the building. Because of this super intense daily interaction, senior operators became really well-known personalities and deeply trusted figures. They took on a whole host of unspoken duties. Some regular building visitors would actually request a specific, experienced operator just to guarantee a comfortable ride. Over the years, they developed genuine personal relationships. They got holiday gifts, the whole shebang. And because they spent all day watching exactly who came and went, they ended up acting as this amazing informal layer of security, instantly spotting any unfamiliar or suspicious faces. Which brings us to Section 4, the rise of automation. So, you might be wondering, if this was such a stable, respectable, and frankly necessary profession, how did it completely disappear from our modern world? Well, let's track this massive shift. Automatic tech actually started being developed way back in the 1920s. But the public, they were absolutely terrified of stepping into a metal box without a human in charge. No way. It actually took decades of major PR campaigns in the 1950s just to reassure people that these automatic systems were safe. Ultimately, though, the massive cost savings for building owners, combined with some very real safety advancements, won out. By the 1970s, the human operator was pretty much a thing of the past. Finally, Section 5, the operator's lasting legacy. Even though the automated systems eventually won the battle, the cultural and mechanical echo of the human operator is still with us today, just hiding in plain sight. You know the term elevator pitch, right? Well, that is a direct cultural remnant from an era when slower, operator-staffed rides created these brief but genuine opportunities for spontaneous conversation. Today we think of an elevator pitch as something you just do quickly, in transit. But it actually originated because the manual handling of the car gave you a literal captive audience and just enough smooth, uninterrupted time to pitch your big idea to an executive. Today, outside of maybe a few luxury hotels preserving that old-school nostalgia, the operator's true legacy lives on in the strict safety and leveling standards that were originally learned from decades of human manual operation. And those emergency response procedures built into modern automated systems, those were originally mapped out by humans standing in those exact cars. They established the strict passenger safety standards that are literally still in use to protect us today.
So as we wrap up this explainer, it kind of leaves us with a really fascinating thought. What other incredible human skills are quietly fading into the background of our increasingly automated world? We replaced a highly skilled, incredibly essential workforce with machines, and most of us never even realized the depth of what was lost. Definitely keep that in mind the next time those doors close and you automatically glide up to your destination. Thanks so much for exploring this hidden piece of history with us.